game trollers, and welcome to a new video, and commentary is back, people. So, yeah, it's back, it's real, it's lit, and it's been about 5 months since I've tried doing commentary. All I can say is technical difficulties, which have now been settled. We're doing the NXT Takeover San Antonio. I always nearly say Dallas predictions in this one, so a pretty good card, as usual for Takeover, really. I mean, I say pretty good card. The only match I really care about is Shinsuke versus Bate, but yeah, so I'll just putting it up here real quick. No, not that Takeover. Okay, so first match we got up on here is Eric Young versus Ty Dillinger. Now, there's rumors and all that stuff that Ty will debut on the main roster, at least make a, I guess what we could consider a cameo on at the Royal Rumble at number 10, right? So should he enter inside the Rumble and / make his debut, like with a big, like a big push, a large amount of momentum behind him, or should he just, put over Eric Young for the future, because it seems like NXT is sort of turning into it's turning into sanity territory now, with the amount of like they're just all over the place on this card. But yeah, so I'm not sure. I think Eric Young should get the victory here. Eric Young should get the victory here, mainly because Ty doesn't really need wins. I mean, he's basically a glorified jobber, right? He's basically like if James Ellsworth actually had a character and actually got over and stayed over, right? That's basically what Ty Dillinger is. He doesn't really need to win. He's more of the underdog, like, jobber sort of character. So I predict Eric Young will take the victory here, will take the cake, so he can get some more momentum and some more hype behind him, some more wins behind him when he faces, say, Shinsuke or somebody else. Or, like, maybe Roderick? Not Roderick. I don't want to say Joe. There's a lot of heels. Like, a lot of heels. Technically, the only face right now is Shinsuke. Maybe, I don't know. So, yeah, so Eric Young takes the victory there. So, next match I have here is the IY versus the Authors of Pain. Now, this is also pretty difficult to call. Well, kinda. I really want to say Authors of Pain purely because of the whole thing last month, but I don't know. Like, DIY could move up, but I don't really feel like they should, because they at least need people on NXT. They can't just put everybody on the main roster. So DIY, I think they should stay in a long feud with the Authors of Pain. So give the Authors of Pain the titles at Takeover San Antonio, and then Orlando, which is, I think, it's Orlando. Orlando's WrestleMania. Oh, right. So I don't know, maybe have DIY lose the titles at San Antonio, and then maybe get them back, or lose again at Orlando, so they can move up to the main roster after WrestleMania, have the Authors of Pain do some stuff. But as I said, a lot of heels on NXT, so maybe say a DIY win here, and then lose here, win the titles back at Orlando, and then feud with Sanity. Maybe that could work. Who knows? I don't know. I really don't know. I can't see DIY winning, basically. So, next match we got is good old Roderick Strong versus Andrade Almas. Really, this is sort of like, I like Roderick Strong, really. I mean, he's Roderick Strong. And he should move up to the main roster, at least by, I don't know, fall this year, like Q4. of this year. Definitely not like this very early on. He needs to stay on here a little bit just to keep up appearances for NXT because they really have nothing right now. So I think Roderick could win here, but then what would happen with Andrade? Because I feel like Andrade would have to do some extra stuff. Maybe he'll just be the guy who puts over other faces and stuff when they debut or whatever. I mean, he was a face and turned on, I think, was Cedric. So maybe they could build up a feud with Cedric afterwards, and he doesn't really need a win against Roderick here to build up that feud. One feud they would need to build up though is Roderick versus Austin. Well, I guess not. Really, depends what happened at. The takeover with Austin. Let me check. Okay, so at Brooklyn, which was I think the first and last takeover for Austin, he actually beat No Way Jose, who hasn't actually been doing anything. So maybe No Way Jose versus Andrade would be a good feud, to be honest. So yeah, but I predict. Well, you know, there's a lot more things they could do with Andrade than Roderick, because they could feud him. They could make him feud with Cedric, and he could feud with No Way Jose. Whereas Roderick, he would have to wait until Austin comes back to be able to do that feud. I think he's a face, unless it's just two heels going at it randomly. I know Andrade is a heel. Man, that's a hard word to say. I'm just gonna call him Andrew. You know. Pretty sure Andrew is a heel. So either feud with Cedric Alexander or feud with No Way Jose, probably. Yeah, so I predict Andrade on this one, actually. So next match, we got Asuka versus Nikki Cross, Billie Kay, and Peyton Royce for the Women's Championship, the NXT Women's Championship, in a Fatal 4-Way match. I don't think I forgot. Did I mention that the Offers of Pain vs. DIY was Tag Team Championship? You probably guessed that. But anyways, so Asuka versus Nikki Cross versus Billie Kay versus Peyton Royce. Very interesting here. It's sort of like a freeway, a freeway technically, if you think about it. Asuka is on her own side. She's on her own, right? She's the lone wolf. She's the lone champion. Then you have Nikki Cross with Sanity, representing Sanity. So she's like representing a stable, you know, doing this. And then you have Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, who are basically tag team partners at this point. You know, they're the allies. You know, this is basically the equivalent of, say, say if who was a tag team? Basically, this is the equivalent of The Rock taking on Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin, and then what, DX? No. What was a stable back in those days? Evolution, so like Randy Orton. This is that, but you know, in NXT. So really, who should win? Honestly, I do feel like Asuka just should win because it's Asuka, right? Like none of these guys really, like the other girls. I mean, they've been building up pretty well, but it's like they're just not ready for the NXT Women's Championship at all. Like, I think Asuka's gonna hold on to this for a while until Ember beats her. So I think Asuka's gonna win here. Maybe take on Nikki in a singles match, or maybe another a female wrestler who debuts at some point and then loses, drops the title to Ember. Maybe she will drop the title to Ember at Orlando. Technically, I mean, that's a possibility. That's a possibility. So yeah, so Asuka taking the cake in this Fatal 4-Way. Possibly building up to a feud between a heel Billie Kay and a face Peyton Royce. And then we of course have Nikki Cross representing Sanity. So obviously that's Eric taking a win for Sanity, and of course Nikki losing. Now we have the main event of the evening: Shinsuke Nakamura versus Bobby Roode. Really, as I said with DIY and Authors of Pain. This could go on for a while. I do think it might go on longer past Orlando, although I feel like most of these feuds should end at Orlando, purely because, you know, it's like the WrestleMania show, technically. Wait a second. Okay, so I'm back. I just checked out the Dallas card. So basically, the end, which was the... As I was saying, so, Austin actually made his debut at Dallas, and then the feud between Joe and Finn ended at the end. And then at Brooklyn 2, the Shinsuke and Joe feud started. So technically, it doesn't have to. The Shinsuke versus Bobby feud doesn't have to end at Orlando. It could end at the pay-per-view afterwards. It could end. It could just be a one-off tonight. I do think it would go on past Orlando, maybe 3, maybe even 4 takeover shows. But as for San Antonio, really, it's weird because, like, long feuds, really, it just feels like you have to switch the title around a few times. But you know what? I think Shinsuke should win. I don't know. Bobby doesn't like. I'm not sure. I'm gonna go with Shinsuke. I don't see them taking off the title off of him. I don't see them taking the title off of him yet, really. I mean, he's already had 2 reigns, and like this last one is pretty short, so I don't see them taking it off tonight. Maybe at Orlando, or maybe they take it off of him tonight, and then he wins it back at Orlando, and then beats Bobby again at the pay-per-view, the takeover afterwards. I don't know what it's called though. They haven't named it yet, but yeah. So I go with Bobby here tonight. He wins the title, then he loses it at Orlando, and then loses it again in his rematch at the takeover after Orlando. So yeah, so that's it for this video here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. What are your predictions for San Antonio? Working with a bit different of a setup here. Yeah, so that's it. As I said, hopefully you guys enjoyed, as I said again. And see you in tomorrow's video with the Royal Rumble predictions. Gonna be a mighty fine one, that one, I will say. So yeah, see you guys in the next video. Troll on, baby.